أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا إنه من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه ومن استنار بنور القرآن واتبع السنة المرسلة به إلى يوم الدين ثم أما بعد. عباد الله، عنوان خطبتنا اليوم بعنوان فضل الصدقة والإنفاق في سبيل الله. لتمهيد هذه الخطبة عباد الله أذكر نفسي وإياكم بأن الصدقة عمل عظيم شأنه وثوابه جزيل في الإسلام، فهي من أوضح الدلالات وأصدق العلامات على صدق إيمان المتصدق، وذلك لأن النفوس جبلت على حب المال والتمول واكتساب وجمع المال فقد ورد عن عبد الله بن الشخير رضي الله عنه قال: أتيت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وهو يقرأ: ألهاكم التكاثر ألهاكم التكاثر ألهاكم التقاصر، فقال عليه الصلاة والسلام: يقول ابن آدم مالي مالي، وهل لك يا ابن آدم من مالك إلا ما أكلت فأفنيت أو لبست فأبليت أو تصدقت فأمضيت، فمن أنفق ماله وخالف ما جبل عليه كان برهان لإيمانه وصحة يقينه. وفي ذلك ورد عن أبي مالك ابن الحارث الأشعري قال: الطهور شطر الإيمان، والحمد لله تملأ الميزان، وسبحان الله والحمد لله تملأان ما بين السماوات والأرض، والصلاة نور، والصدقة برهان، والصبر ضياء. والصدقة برهان، هذا هو محل الشاهد، رواه مسلم. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, I bear witness that there is no deity worthy to be worshipped except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his messenger and last messenger. No one would be messenger after him. All who have believed, fear Allah and say the word of the truth. Today khutbah, inshallah, brothers and sisters in Islam, is about spending, the virtue of spending in the sake of Allah. To introduce this khutbah, I want to remind myself and you some fact about spending in the sake of Allah. Brothers and sisters in Islam, spending in the sake of Allah is a great matter. Yes, sometimes we think just praying, doing siyam, all this. No, sadaqah is one of the greatest thing in Islam, because the reward is tremendous, is big, and is the biggest evidence. According to the evidence in the Quran and Hadith, is one of the biggest evidence and the biggest sign that you have a true iman, because technically our soul, our soul was created with the love of wealth. Everybody else, even though if you were trying to hide it, but Allah had already created us with this love of money. The only thing that we say, balance it, is to do sadaqah. It was reported from Abdullah ibn Shakhir. He said he came to the Prophet one time, and the Prophet was reading. So this hadith, I always want to mention it whenever I talk about the money, or about the wealth, because this is the real philosophy of money. If you don't understand this hadith, or you don't put it into your life, there is something missing. He said, I came to the Prophet ﷺ one time. He was sitting and he was reading Al-Hakumut Takathur. He was repeating this verse, Al-Hakumut Takathur, and that verse was revealed at that moment freshly. So the literal translation of it is diverts you, collecting wealth. The collecting wealth have diverts you from the focal point. We all came here to worship Allah, do whatever Allah orders us to do, so we can be successful. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remind the mankind that, diverts us, all of us, no one is excluded. All of us diverts us collecting the wealth. Therefore, the Prophet ﷺ explaining how do you get diverted. Collecting money itself is not a bad thing, but how do you get diverted when you that money, you become the slave of that money. So the Prophet ﷺ said the human being will be saying, oh my money, oh my money, oh my money. But literally that they don't know that the only money that you really earn, or you really have, is one of the three things. What you eat, and is going to be perished, of course. That's for you. Okay. Or what you clothe yourself, nice clothes, like the imam, so on. That's for you. Seriously, this is part of the money that you have, or the one this is our topic today, the one that you gave for the sake of Allah. Then you're gonna find it, after in the day of judgment. So this three thing is your money. Other than that, it's just numbers, brother and sister in Islam. You could be collecting in billions, and then when we pass away, some people else, so that's not for us. And then it came to a different hadith that the Prophet ﷺ said was sadaqa burhan. I'm not going to go through that long hadith. It's an authentic hadith reported from Muslim and Bukhari. So he said the sadaqa is a evidence for iman. So anytime you hear a call for sadaqah, and you guesstimating, or you just dragging your feet, you should ask yourself, is my iman 100 or not? So brothers and sisters in Islam, this is for introduction. So for my khutbah, I have two plans here. I will give you the verses that encourage for spending, and hadith that encourage spending. And then I will give you some of the verses that condemn people that don't want to give, and some of the hadiths who condemn people that don't want to give. And then we're going to summarize for it. So brothers and sisters in Islam, when you look through the Quran, because of the time, even if we only take Surah Al-Baqarah, brothers and sisters in Islam, we can get about, according to my calculation, I might be wrong a little bit. So it's about 27 something, verses, just about spending. And as soon as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala introduced Surah Baqarah, He said, Alladina yu'minuna bil ghaibi wa yuqimuna salata wa mimma razaqnahum yunfiqun. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was explaining the three category of the people, the mu'minun, and the munafiqun, and the kuffar. So the mu'minun, He said, they're spending from what Allah has given to them. Okay, but remember this, Allah has given to them. Remember this, don't forget it. Also in the same surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ وَمَا تُقَدِّمُوا لِأَنفُسِكُم مِّنْ خَيْرٍ تَجِدُوهُ عِندَ اللَّهِ. Remember this, تَجِدُوهُ عِندَ اللَّهِ. He say, perform your prayer and then give your zakat, and whatever you give for the sake of Allah, you will find it. So, remember this. What you are spending is from what Allah have given to you. What you are spending this is what you're going to find later on, not what you live in this world. But also in the same surah, that's the last ayah that I want to quote. يا الذين آمنوا أنفقوا مما رزقناكم من قبل أن يأتي يوم لا بيع فيه ولا خلة ولا شفاعة والكافرون هم الظالمون. Remember this last portion of the ayah. وَالْكَافِرُونَ هُمُ الظَّالِمُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in a lecture, "O who you have believed, spend from what Allah has given to you before the death come to you. Because after that, it will be a day, there will no exchange, there is no currency over there except for the good deeds. And if you want to get that good deeds, you send it now, okay? We say at the end, the people who wrong themselves is the kuffar, meaning the one who is stingy he have one of the biggest character of the kuffar. May Allah prevent me and you. Let's go to Surah Ali Imran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, "Lan tanalul birra hatta tunfiqu mimma tuhibbun." He say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will not attain the daraja of bir. And everybody, that's what we're lacking, we're seeking. To get to that bir, the one is dutiful to Allah. That's you want to be the abdu of Allah. He said, you will not get to that level, no matter how you do, except for when you spend from what you love the most. So remember this, what you love the most, you know. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is the last ayah I want to give. I had more, but I will not bring everything. In Surah Al-Anfal, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, الَّذِينَ يُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ حَقًّا. Okay? You say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, الَّذِينَ يُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ. He said, those who perform their prayer and they're spending, they're giving zakat from what Allah have given to them, or provided to them, they are the real believer, the true believer. So brother and sister in Islam, when you go to even Juzu Amma, it's a lot. فَأَمَّا مَنْ أَعْطَى وَاتَّقَى وَصَدَّقَ بِالْحُسْنَى, and so on and so on. So brother and sister in Islam, in the book of Allah, there is a lot of verse who urge people, encouraging people for spending on the sake of Allah. If you go to the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, there are a ton of the hadith. It's a lot of hadith, hundreds of them. So I give you this hadith narrated from Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. قال ما من يوم يصبح العباد إلا وينزل فيه ملكان فيقول أحدهما اللهم أعط منفقا خلفا ويقول الآخر اللهم أعط ممسكا تلفا. رواه البخاري ومسلم. So this hadith is telling us sadaqah is a daily work, like a daily act of worship. It's not that you do it once in a while. No, sadaqah is the daily. He said there is no one day, a single day that arise, or we wake up in that day, except for there is two angels which descend. One of them will make dua for the one who is spending, and one of the other one is going to make dua against the one that don't spend. May Allah give us the first one, inshallah. So brother and sister in Islam, another hadith narrated from Abu Huraira, also in Bukhari and Muslim, he say, "Man tasaddaqa bi'ijli tamrah min kasbin tayyibin, wa la yaqbalu Allahu illa at-tayyiba, wa inna Allaha yaqbaluha biyaminihi, thumma yurabbiha li sahibihi, kama yurabbi ahadukum fuluwa, hatta takuna mithla al-jabal." Rawah al-Bukhari wa Muslim. Abu Huraira narrated from Abu Huraira, he say, whoever give the sadaqah for the sake of Allah, sincerely for the sake of Allah, even if it's as a little. So, this hadith, I will go back to it. This hadith is teaching you, you don't have to be like a millionaire or billionaire before you give sadaqah. Some people sometimes they say, oh, when they hear this, oh, I have my income, I'm a low income person. No, you give what you have. The sadaqah is from what you have. somebody is able to give hundreds of thousands, and you're able to give like $100, 1,000, $50, whatever. So whenever that call come to you, don't be the one that doesn't give, because the sadaqah, the philosophy of sadaqah in Islam is not only for the rich people. This is my reason to bring this hadith, to clarify this, or to remind us. We all know this hadith, of course. So he says, Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whoever give the sadaqah, even though if it's just equal to half share, like half of the date, but it has to be from the lawful earning. The sadaqah, if you want to find it later on, it has to be from a kasbun tayyib, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not accept except for what is tayyib. So if you give that kind of sadaqah and sincerely for the sake of Allah, Allah will take it. And this is that what I call, in my understanding, this is the biggest for, or the, the, I don't know even how to say it, the 401k that you will never find a match. You could be in the best company or whatever, you get they tell you, give this and we give you double or triple, whatever. I don't know even how to count it. But this one here, you give like for the sake of Allah, like a like a date or half date, in another narration. So Allah will take it, and it will be growing. It will be growing. The day you will find it, it will be like a mountain. You will be surprised. So, brothers and sisters in Islam, sadaqah is not just for the rich people, it's for everybody. Okay. Okay. And this hadith is the last one, inshallah. And Abi Sa'id al-Khudri radiallahu anhu قال خرج رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم في أضحى أو فطر إلى المصلى ثم انصرف فوعظ الناس وأمرهم بالصدقة فقال أيها الناس تصدقوا فمر على النساء فقال يا معشر النساء تصدقنا فإني رأيتكن أكثر أهل النار فلما صار إلى منزله جاء زينب امرأة ابن مسعود تستأذن عليه فقيل يا رسول الله هذه زينب فقال أي الزيانب فقال امرأة ابن مسعود قال نعم إذن لها فأذن لها قالت يا نبي الله إنك أمرت الصدقة إنك أمرت اليوم بالصدقة وكان عندي حلي فأردت أن أتصدق به فزعم ابن مسعود أنه وولده أحق من تصدقت به عليهم فقال صلى الله عليه وسلم صدق ابن مسعود زوجك وولدك أحق من تصدقت به عليهم. Reported from Abi Sa'id al-Khudri radiallahu anhu. This hadith also is authentic. It's agreed upon us from Bukhari and Muslim. He said the day of Eid, one day of the Eid, some of the people who translate that hadith or explain that hadith, they say it was the Eid al-Adha. Some of them say Eid, but it's just a day for Eid. So he said the Prophet ﷺ, when he came to that Eid, after the prayer Eid, he started making the khutbatul Eid, like we all know. So and he said he first and first he speak to the brothers, like the ashab, the men, and then later on he went to the women. So this hadith, is mainly for everybody, but I want to target our sister here. So sometimes, people, when they hear sadaqah, say, this is for man thing. No, it's for everybody. Even women, they have to be include this one. Some women, sometimes when they hear sadaqah, they think it's only for the men. So this hadith is the great evidence. When the Prophet ﷺ spoke to the Sahaba, he went to the women and he gave them that speech, and he make them, he gave them glad tidings about giving sadaqah. And then one of the companion, a woman, Zainab, Imrat ibn Masud, the wife of Abdullah ibn Masud, he didn't give at that time, because she don't have nothing to give at that moment. She followed him at home, and she knocked at the door, and then they let her enter, and she came and said, I have some kind of huli, some of I mean, jewelry, I want to give it to the nation. So anyway, brother and sister in Islam, the sadaqah is for everybody. Everybody have to be included. So no brother and sister in Islam, our Prophet Sallallahu whatever action that we do in Islam, nobody did it most than him, and nobody would do even half like him. So we have to know that, acknowledge this. So know that your Prophet Sallallahu was the most generous. He was the most generous throughout the whole year. Even though he was not that rich person, we all know. He got different stage in his life. There is a time, 2 months, they don't even have, hot food, So, but even though whatever he get, he will give it away. The Prophet ﷺ, to tell you how much sadaqah is important in our life. So he was the most generous throughout the year. But when Ramadan comes, he was he was generous more than the wind, So that's mean how much this is to remind me and you, we should be generous all the time. But when the call of sadaqah comes through during Ramadan, this is the moment that you have to strive, the moment that you have to go for it, and you have to work for it harder and even harder, because the reward is multiplied. Brother and sister in Islam, uh, the Prophet ﷺ, one time he was giving advice to Muaz ibn Jabal. It's a very long hadith in Tirmidhi, but I just took that portion of one of the advice that he gave him. He told him, was sadaqa tudfi'ul khati'ah kama yudfi'ul ma'u an nar. The Prophet ﷺ, he tell Mu'adh ibn Jabal, and this is authentic in Tirmidhi, whoever want to go back to it. The Prophet he told Mu'adh, as the sadaqah will extinguish the bad deed. Like the same way when if you get any fire here, you're gonna call firefighter, and they will just come that to have fire hydrant. The water is gonna take it away as soon as they come. Same, the Prophet ﷺ said, the sadaqah will extinguish your bad deed. So sadaqah is one of the biggest mean for us to go clean sheet, inshallah. So after giving you this introduction, or this verses and hadith that encourages for giving sadaqah. So the sadaqah, there is a lot of condition, but I took two big conditions that will cover everything, I think. So it has to be from the one giving sadaqah itself. You have to be seeking for the sake of Allah. This is one of the biggest condition. Also, the second biggest condition is from the wealth that we give in a way. So it has to be from kasbun tayyib. So brothers and sisters in Islam, without further ado, a lot of verses in Quran and a lot of texts in Hadith, condemn or concern, about being stingy. So in the Quran, there is about five surah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned about what is gonna get to you if you are a stingy person. So being a stingy is have a bad effect, and it's a dire, and its effect in our life, is gonna be not very good. So, and like I say, it's about 7 verses in the Quran, but I will give you only one verse. If you want to, you can go back to Surah Ali Imran, ayah 180. Okay, go back to Surah An-Nisa. I'm not gonna mention all of that because of the time. Surah An-Nisa, you have verses 37. Go back to it and check it. Surah Tawbah, the one that I will bring you here, verse 76. On Surah Muhammad 37 and 38, and Surah Al-Layl, wa amma man bakhila wastaghna, verses 8, and verse 24. So brothers and sisters in Islam, being stingy or being, holding yourself from giving away from the sake of Allah is a great evil. It's a great evil. Sometimes you think like when you lie or when you kill somebody or you do this is just the evil. No, being stingy is an evil thing. Wallahi, if there should be a time, I will give you from Al Adab al Mufrad, from the book of Imam al Bukhari, not Sahih Bukhari. You know, this is, this act is not gonna be a good act. So listen to this. It came to in Surah Tawbah 180, like I said. No, Surah Tawbah 76. Uh, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ عَاهَدَ اللَّهِ لَإِنْ آتَانَا مِنْ فَضْلِهِ لَنَصَّدَّقَنَّ وَلَنَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ فَلَمَّا آتَاهُمْ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ بَخِلُوا بِهِ وَتَوَلَّوْا وَهُمْ مُعْرِضُونَ فأعقبهم نفاقا في قلوبهم إلى يوم يلقونه بما أخلفوا الله ما وعدوه وبما كانوا يكذبون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in verses 75 in Surah At-Tawbah, this Surah At-Tawbah, many actually from the Sahaba, they call it the Surah Al-Munafiqun, the biggest one, because we have Surah Al-Munafiqun, إِذَا جَاءَكَ الْمُنَافِقُونَ. So Surah At-Tawbah also, they call it Surah Al-Munafiqun. So this is one of the greatest of characteristics of being hypocrite in Islam, and it could be to the level of being munafiq fil amal to the munafiq fil qalb. May Allah protect us. So brothers and sisters, Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in this verse, among the munafiqun, not the good Sahaba, he said, they used to call to the Prophet, make dua for us, give us a dua. If Allah make us rich, I become rich, I will spend for the sake of Allah, and I will be a righteous person. فَلَمَّا آتَاهُم مِّن فَضْلِهِ. Then when Allah, granted them whatever they wish, and then they stop, they hold it back. And then my point is here, فَأَعْقَبَهُمْ نِفَاقًا. This is what you should remember in this verse. When they hold, they don't want to spend, Allah, because of that act, not other act, because of that act, Allah made them, they became the real munafiqeen. So brothers and sisters in Islam, holding back when they call you for the spending is a small characteristic of nifaq, and it's gonna grow. Also, we might have a little bit time. In Surah Ali Imran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, وَلَا يَحْسَبَنَّ الَّذِينَ يَبْخَلُونَ بِمَا آتَاهُمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ هُوَ خَيْرًا لَهُمْ بَلْ هُوَ شَرٌ لَهُمْ. I will stop here. To tell you the evidence, if you are stingy enough to not give for the sake of Allah, this is a shar for you. It's a shar. It's not gonna bring any good for your life, whether in this dunya or after. So brothers and sisters in Islam, like I said, those 5 surah is enough for us. But I'm not gonna mention everything. Came into hadith, a lot of ahadith, hundreds of them, this encouraging people to not being generous. So it's coming from a Sunan al-Tirmidhi again, from Abu Huraira narrated. He say, "As-sakhiyu qaribun min Allah." Okay, qaribun min al-Jannah, qaribun min al-nas, ba'idun min al-nar. والبخيل بعيد من الله بعيد من الناس قريب من النار. Okay, the hadith is not, I will stop here, just it's long hadith. He said the generous person is close to Allah. 4 characteristics: close to Jannah, close to the people, away from the hellfire. May Allah free our neck is in this month. And also he said the stingy person or the miser person is away from Allah. May Allah not make us among them. Away from the people. He said also so close to the hellfire. And then wala jahilun sakhi ahabbu ila Allah min abidin bakhil. It's a long hadith. I'll stop here. He said the jahil person, the one that worshiping Allah without knowledge, which is a bad thing too. He said that person is better in the sight of Allah than somebody knowledgeable, maybe somebody knowledgeable but not sahih, not the one that don't give away. Brothers and sisters in Islam, in another hadith, from Abu Huraira, and this is reported by Muslim. You say, لا يجتمع غبار في سبيل الله ودهان في جهنم في منخر رجل مسلم ولا يجتمع شح وإيمان في قلب. We stop here, so just he say the iman, the true believer, the true iman cannot coexist, with a stinginess. A stinginess and the true iman cannot coexist in the pure heart of a Muslim. So, brothers and sisters in Islam, the last one here from no, the last year, inshallah, from Abu Bakr Siddiq, which is some people. He said Abu Bakr Siddiq said that the Prophet ﷺ said, some people say it's the statement of Abu Bakr, some people say it's the Prophet. He said, لا يدخل الجنة خب ولا منان ولا بخيل. He said, ولا بخيل. I will just say, the stingy person will not enter Jannah. Okay, so brothers and sisters in Islam, I will stop here. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم واستغفروا إنه جواد كريم. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Brothers and sisters in Islam, so this is just an appetite for you, brothers and sisters in Islam. So I think we all get the point, right? So being generous it's not just a small thing to do in Islam. Like, it's a great thing. Is the opposite of it is also not a small act of bad action. It's a great bad action. So, brothers and sisters in Islam, inshallah, this masjid, our masjid, they have a project here for a gymnasium to build behind this masjid, inshallah. So, more information will come to you. But I will end this khutbah. With this hadith from Anas ibn Malik, or maybe one more. Reported from Anas ibn Malik. Hear this very careful, brother and sister in Islam. He said that the Prophet ﷺ said, "Inna minan nas mafatihun lil khair, maghaliqun lil shar, wa inna minan nas mafatihun lil shar, maghaliqun lil khair. فطوبى لمن جعل الله مفاتيح الخير على يديه وويل لمن جعل الله مفاتيح الشر على يديه." So, brothers and sisters in Islam, whenever you hear a call for the sake of Allah, do it and be the reason. Man sanna sunnatan hasana falahu ajruha wa ajru man amila biha la yanqus min ujurihim shay'an. Be the reason for so many people to come do it. Don't be the reason for stopping people from doing it. So this hadith is evidence for it. The Prophet ﷺ say, on authority of Anas ibn Malik, say, people, Allah have created people. Some people, they are the key for good action. They are the reason for the good action. They are the key for the good action. Some people, at the same time, they are good. They are reason for the good action. They are padlock, maghalik. They are padlock for not doing good action. So they are the reason for people to bring people to the goodness. And there are some people they are bad padlock for good action and a key for bad action. So, brothers and sisters in Islam, this is for me and you. Spread the word, call people to participate, inshallah, and be the reason for that project to be successful. And I remind myself and you, brothers and sisters in Islam, we are in this great month and this great 10 nights. We have to strive for it. We have to strive, and may Allah give us the ajr of Laylatul Qadr, inshallah. Reported from Ibn al-Qayyim in his book, the great book Madarij al-Salikin. He said this one is from Umar ibn al-Khattab. I don't know how authentic is it because I never do research on it. He said, إن لهذه القلوب إقبالا وإدبارا فإذا أقبلت فخذوها بالنوافل وإن أدبرت فالزموها بالفرائض. Umar ibn al-Khattab is an authority on Ibn al-Qayyim. He said that Umar ibn al-Khattab said this. He said, our heart, there is a time we are open for goodness. There is a time, which is if you don't get it during this month, when you're gonna get it, brothers and sisters. So he said, our heart, there is a time you get lazy. It's normal. There is a time also you strive hard, which is one of them during this month, of course. So he said, there is the qulub have iqbal and idbar. Sometimes we are enjoying it, we do it. So if your heart is enjoying it, doing good, do a lot of nawafil. So during this time, brothers and sisters in Islam, you have to do your siyam with a lot of sadaqah, with a lot of dhikr, with a lot of reading Quran, with a lot of silatul rahim, and so on, so on. And at the end of the author, he said, if that heart stopped doing a lot of good, then stick to the faraid. So at this moment, we are in the moment of striving. Do a lot of as much as we can. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. اللهم لك الحمد قبل كل شيء ولك الحمد على كل شيء. لك الحمد حتى ترضى ولك الحمد إذا رضيت ولك الحمد بعد الرضا. أنت للحمد أهل. تبارك ربنا وتعالى. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. اللهم اهدنا وسددنا. اللهم إنا نسألك الهدى والسداد والتقى. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. اللهم صل على محمد في الأولين وصل على محمد في الآخرين وصل على محمد في الملأ الأعلى إلى يوم الدين. اللهم انصر إخواننا المستضعفين في غزة. اللهم انصرهم على أعدائهم وعدونا يا رب العالمين. اللهم إنا نسألك أن تنصر الإسلام والمسلمين. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
استقيموا واعتدلوا. استقيموا واعتدلوا. استووا واعتدلوا. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. والليل إذا يغشى والنهار إذا تجلى وما خلق الذكر والأنثى إن سعيكم لشتى فأما من أعطى واتقى وصدق بالحسنى فسنيسره لليسرى وأما من بخل واستغنى وكذب بالحسنى فسنيسره للعسرى وما يغني عنه ماله إذا تردى إن علينا للهدى وإن لنا للآخرة والأولى فأنذرتكم نارا تلظى لا يصلاها إلا الأشقى الذي كذب وتولى وسيجنبها الأتقى الذي يؤتي ماله يتزكى وما لأحد عنده من نعمة تجزى إلا ابتغاء وجه ربه الأعلى ولسوف يرضى. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر. ليلة القدر خير من 1000 شهر. تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر. سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. بارك الله فيك.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, just a couple minutes. We have very important announcements. As Hafiz Muhammad Mubarak mentioned in the khutbah, we have a great project. When you come here on Fridays, you see that many brothers are standing outside. The masjid is full of capacity. Even the school, the gym is full every single Friday. We even have to squeeze some of our students in their classrooms or even in the kitchen. Therefore, the immediate need to expand the masjid. So we have a project to build a big gymnasium in the back of the masjid. And this gymnasium will not only serve our students to have a full basketball court where they can enjoy, but also every Friday, brothers can pray in the gym as well, inshallah. So next Friday, we have a fundraiser. Next Friday, right after Jumu'ah. I will try to make sure we finish Jumu'ah next Friday by 2:20. By 2:20, we finish Jumu'ah. In 10 minutes, we do the fundraiser. And we'll lock the doors, inshallah, before you leave. And also Friday night is going to be Laylatul Qadr, the 29th night. This year we're going to do the 29th because it's Friday night and the next day will be Saturday. People don't have to worry about going to work, inshallah. Zakatul Fitr is $15 per person. the father, the mother, all the children, and even if your wife is pregnant. Last but not least, we have some of our community members who lost loved ones. Please stay so we can make dua for them, inshallah. We have our brother Amara Traore, a good friend of mine who lost his auntie Fatoumata Traore in Guinea. May Allah have mercy on her. May Allah give her Jannah. Our brother Chekura, also the president of the Mali community, who's actually having the iftar tonight. Our brother Chekura lost his mother, Mariam Jallo. We ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to forgive her and give her Jannah. Our brother Muhammad Owen, also who's one of our teachers, lost his auntie Haja Maryam. اللهم اغفر لهم وارحمهم وعافهم واعف عنهم واكرم نزلهم ووسع مدخلهم واغسلهم بالماء والثلج والبرد ونقيهم من الذنوب والخطايا كما ينقى الثوب الابيض من الدنس. اللهم ابدلهم ديارا خيرا من ديارهم وازواجا خيرا من ازواجهم. اللهم ادخلهم جنه واخذهم من عذاب النار. Lastly, we are in the last 10 nights of Ramadan. Brothers, we encourage you every night to come for Taraweeh. And every odd night, we have a Qiyamul Layl also from 4 until 5:30 a.m. Please go to different masajid. Please populate the houses of Allah within the last 10 nights of Ramadan so we can take benefit, inshallah. And we'll see you next Friday. Don't go to another masjid next Friday. I'm going to Al-Fajr next Friday. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Next Friday, I'm good. Next Friday.